What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate everybody supporting the channel and coming back and watching the videos over and over again. So I had some people ask me on Instagram what's going on with the red tails. You guys haven't seen them in a while, but they're doing very well. I've just had a bunch of new snakes come in and just kind of been doing videos on them and kind of skipping over some stuff. So I got a lot of snakes in here, so it's kind of hard to pick and choose on the videos about what videos to make on which snakes. And I know you guys like to see all of them, so it's just kind of like trying to go through the rotation on showing all of the snakes on video, but we will look at them here in about 5 seconds. I just want to show you guys really fast the VPI jungle. She just shed out, had a perfect shed, and I just want to show you guys how beautiful she is. And some of you guys know that I've been having some issue with the ARS rack on humidity. Now with her, I did not spray her down at all the entire time she was in shed or coming out of shed, and she had a perfect shed. Some of the snakes have really bad sheds, and I went through this morning and then I just sprayed down all of the other snakes because there's a few that are out of blue and going into shed here in the next day or two. Some of them I thought they would have already have shed out, so I'll show you guys those super fast, but really want to show you guys how gorgeous she is and her colors. We can see that she's 100% a jungle. Love the line all the way down her back. Almost touches almost to her head, but all the way down to almost her tail, and then how bright her tail is. So she is an albino, not a complete albino. We can see a lot of browns and blacks and grays on her, but she looks really good. And I do have a hide in here for her because she is small. Want her to feel as comfortable as she can be in this big tub. So the hide is not in here right now. So I just took it out just to show her on the video. She's eating very well on pretty good sized mice. So she'll be on mice for the first year of her life before I swap her over onto rats. The next girl, not the red tail, but this girl looks insane. Every time I look at her, she looks like she's getting darker and darker. I love the band on her eye. Maybe it's a little bit difficult to see with the poor lighting in here, but I just really like how she looks, and she has a lot of iridescence on her for being as dark as she is. So she should get darker and darker as she grows up. I really have no idea what she's going to actually look like as an adult. She does have the motley in her, which is helping, the hypo, and then the jungle. Her tail is still not as dark as her body, which is really awesome because I like that pattern. I like the pattern and I like the color. So let's jump into the red tails. I only have 2 true locality red tails. Kind of wish I had more. They are a little bit difficult to find. I would really love to get a Peruvian. Those are very hard to find and very expensive. So that, I mean, I know Jason breeds them. I don't know if he breeds them every year. So she had a kind of a bad shed, and really haven't picked out all these pieces in here, which it doesn't hurt her. As long as there's no, poop in here or big messes, then this is perfectly fine. So this is a 2017 Guyana. She's very tiny. I do know that the red tails, the BCCs, do grow a lot slower than the BI line of the boas, but we had some issues with her when she was a baby. She wouldn't keep food down. She kept on regurgitating food. Then she went off of food for months. She almost died, but she bounced back. She's eating perfectly ever since then. And she just, she sheds. She just doesn't grow that much. Hopefully she's not stunned. Hopefully she will get to be normal size for the red tails. They do get, as adults, they do get bigger than the BI line, the common boas, but we'll just have to see. I love her patterns. I love the saddle markings on her, the marking on her head. Her eyes are really pretty, and her tail is obviously bright red for the nickname of them, red tails. Now as they get older, their tails don't dull out. They just stay brighter and brighter. Nice bright whites, bright blacks on her. And this is just I just think this is a really good example of a Guyana redtail that anybody can buy at a pet store. It's not one of the fancy ones. I know there is a company, I think it's called Widow's Peak, and they make some crazy, very, very nice Guyanas and Surinams, probably Peruvians, you know, but you're going to pay $900, $1,000 or more for a redtail. When you can basically find redtails like this one for, I don't know, $300, $400, $500 ish, probably around the $350, $400 range, depending on if it's male or female. But if you guys want a redtail, I highly recommend them. I think everybody I hate saying the word collection because they're living animals, but it is a collection. We care about the animals. We love the animals. We don't want anything bad to happen to the animals. We collect snakes. Let's be honest. And there's nothing wrong with it. Now, if you're neglecting the animals as you're collecting them, then that's, you know, obviously probably not a good thing. I put it in backwards. It's not a big deal. Flip it around later. But, you know, I think everybody should have a locality snake, whether it's an Argentine or it's a true redtail or it's a hognose or it's something. If you like the localities with no extra special bloodlines or anything like that, then you should probably look into a redtail. So this is the Suriname. She's 2016. She's a good size. I don't power feed them. I don't overfeed them. I give them a simple meal that barely leaves a lump in their body every 2 weeks, especially for the Surinams. She's growing very nicely. When I got her, she was having some issues with her tail. She was fed live, and you can kind of see right here, there's a little bit of scarring on her. She kind of got beat up from a live rat. It's gotten better. She will always have the markings on her eyes. When I had her, she was in one of these tubs, and I've had almost all my snakes in these tubs at one point. They're similar to them, and no other snake had any issues. She decided to rub her head somewhere on the tub, and she messed her face up, or the top of her head. So it's healed. She's got some battle wounds. She's a fighter. Beautiful snake. No issues on really anything with her. Temperament's great. Feeding, she eats great. Everything is perfectly fine with her. So her tail is not as red as the Guyana, probably because this is a lower end, even though she's, you know, still a beautiful snake. And I mean, I think maybe, I don't know why she's not as red as the Guyana, but she's still really red. And every time she sheds, she gets redder and redder. And I love this shield cooperates. I love this stripe right there. I think it's kind of cool. But very red, very nice blacks on her, nice whites. And she is, as we can see, very nice. And she just looks really good. So that's pretty much the red tails. And just to hit on very fast, not to get into big, you know, the red tail versus the common boas. But 99% of all of the morphs come from the common boa, the BI line. Not too many people want to mess around with the bloodline with the true red tails, just so they can keep them as pure as they can. Mixing Surinams and the Guyanas, that's not a big deal just because they are, you know, true. But if you're going to start mixing the BCI lines with the commons, there's no market, there's no need, there's no demand. I mean, people do it, they look fine, but they're like $200, and people just don't want to muddy the water and mix a bunch of stuff together. All of your morphs are going to come from the BI line. Very, 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 very few morphs that are out there are going to come from the true red tail locality line. I think there might be the albino line out there. There might be another morph out there, but they're expensive. They're like $15,000, $20,000 if you guys could even find one. I know there was an albino There was an albino, I don't know if it was a Guyana, but I know it was a true red tail, and that was like 10 grand. I don't even know if it's even around anymore. I haven't looked into it. But the next snakes that are shedding out are the IMG Motley. I cannot wait until he sheds. Should be, I thought it was going to be today, might be tomorrow or the next day. And then the Jungle Hypo. So I soaked these enclosures or these tubs down because I don't want any issues with these snakes. I'm having bad sheds, and I know it's kind of dark in here, but this girl looks really nice as well. And we can see how her jaw is kind of sagging, kind of saggy. So that's a good indication that within the next day or two, she will shed out as well. Hoping for good sheds. Gonna fill up their water bowls all the way to the top and then respray again later on tonight, just so we don't have any issues. And that is it on the red tails. They are doing very well. And if you guys have any questions or want to see another snake, let me know. Hopefully you guys have an awesome day.